So, believe it or not, I have yet to actually tackle set 12. So, without further ado, let's see what will be coming next month for you guys so you guys can prep, craft materials, and have everything set for next month. So, let's start with our new Forerunner, Liberator Cheer Up Trumpeter. If you have a Liberator Vanguard, put this unit into your soul to have your Vanguard get the following ability until the end of the turn. When your rear guard is placed from the deck, this unit gets plus 3,000 power for each call. No one's going to use that. Barkle Liberator. When the attack by Blaster Blade Liberator, this unit boosts hits a Vanguard. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and call Liberator as rest. So pretty much this card helps you with your booster control. So you always have something to call. This is also good with that actual G17K that lets you draw a card. So if you call that, then technically you drew a card for free. By Soul Blasting one, you were able to draw a card with Barkle Liberator. So a nice combo there that could give Liberators more of their aggressive play stands and crits and all that. Barkle Liberator seems to make it a lot easier to do. I like it. Sunrise Unicorn, rest this unit. Someone gets 2,000. Knight of Far Arrow Sapphire, when placed from your deck. Soul Charge 1, Counter Charge 1. I mean, okay, sure. I guess this helps you in the sense of Vanguard, you CB2, and somehow you miraculously call this and you countercharge. But you're going to soul charge. So your deck thinning way too much to an extent, but then Vanguard can actually put a card back to the bottom so you don't deck out. So that's good enough. So here and there, so-so. Liberator Bagpipe Angel, when placed from your deck, if your Vanguard is a Liberator, 2 of your units get plus 2,000 power. So I guess when you call this a Fang Liberator Guard, you can actually boost some units. You call this with Vivian, you call this with Masquerade. One of your columns is going to get an extra 2k, which turns this into a possible 21k if you have an 8k booster. Also 2k if you only have a 7k booster. But if that 7k booster is Bruno, then you already know where I'm going with that. Pickgull, Counterblast 2, and this unit gets, no one's going to do that. Blue Skies Liberator Heingeist. When this unit attack hits, CB2 to draw a card. Nice, so they got it. So Liberator's actually got a CB2 that lets you draw. That's nice. Wolfang Liberator Garmer. Counterblast 2, call top card of your deck to an open rearguard circle. This effect is repeated until you have no more open rearguard circles. This is interesting because it says it repeats until you have no more open. So you could possibly keep calling, and you might call a lot of triggers knowing your RNG, or if you all know my RNG, yes, I'll be calling a lot of triggers with this, and then I'll be lucky to put them back to the bottom of the deck. Luckily, that's a positive. Garmer also got an updated effect. When placed, this unit gets the following ability until the end of the next turn. Your Liberator rear guards cannot be retired by your opponent's card effects or lose intercept. They can still be locked, but they can be retired by Narukami or Kagero crap, including Seal Dragons. Also, when this unit attacks, put a Liberator rear guard to the bottom of your deck, and this gains 5,000 power. What's good about this last effect, it is not limit break. It's not bound by limit break like Pelennor is. He can do this instantly, so if you wanted to recycle a trigger, you can. You just have to find a way to shuffle your deck, and that's when like a self-damager would come in contact, and you'll be able to get your plays off through there. So Wolfang Liberator Garmer actually is showing some promise due to the fact that even that last effect he has isn't limited, which is good. Gigantateca Pillow Fighter. During your turn, if you have more rear guards than your opponent, this becomes a 13k. Then if a Vanguard, you have more rear guards than your opponent, this is 11k. Worthless. Sacred Guardian Beast Cornea. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, one of your unit gets plus 3,000 power to the end of the turn. But it has to hit to give it 3,000. So that's also lame. Liberator Burning Blow. He looks really cool, though. I'm not going to lie. He looks actually pretty dope. During your turn, this unit gets plus 4,000 power. Double rare. Ghost Shock Liberator Kaji. Cadio? Limit Break 4. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, it gets 5,000 power. Okay. But when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, which isn't bound by Limit Break, Counterblast 1, call the top card of your deck to an open rearguard circle. So pretty much it's pretty much if you were going to have Eskrad as the Vanguard, but if you have this as your Vanguard, you get a twin drive check. supposed to give yourself more attacks, I guess, with this. Every time you attack with this and you hit, you CB1, you call a card. That card gets called. Bruno's in the back. You could hit the magic number, period, no matter what you call. So on and so forth, as long as Bruno's in the back. So Call of Duty is not such a bad budget either, so that's good to know. So, yeah, that's about it for the Liberators. Like I said, Wolfgang Garmer Liberator is showing more promise. His last effect isn't bound by limit break, so you can return triggers. Thank God. CB2 to call to open rear guards. Again, you're going to have to play your field accordingly to have that open. But luckily, he does return a card, so he opens up a rear guard circle, period. So you can keep calling, and when you're ready, you're ready. Pretty much the goal is to set up 2 intercepts in the front. And if you hit some G3s, you throw them back in with Garmer. So you throw the G3 in the back of Garmer when you can. So my advice, avoid putting anything behind Garmer, because Garmer's possibly just going to return it and you're going to trigger. Or if you have already a nice field for it, then you're just going to return the trigger regardless. It's going to depend on the situation. But all in all, I mean, Barkle's definitely amazing. I mean, top 3 cards, if there's a Bruno, is there a draw? Are we wanting Bruno? Are we wanting a couple of Brunos? Are we wanting a couple of the draws so we can plus? Stuff like that. So Barkle definitely opens up a new horizon for Blaster Blade Liberator. It's really nice. So that concludes the Gold Paladin stuff coming next month. Very strong Garmer will be. It's just locking stops Garmer stuff. I mean, Garmer can only stop Narukami, which is good enough, because Narukami's all over the place with Vowing Sword. Oh, I rode Wolfgang Garmer. Oh, Gauntlet can't snipe my Liberator units, which means Gauntlet can't get a crit. Gauntlet is now powerless. Yada yada, activating Plot Armor. So less of that. On to the start of the Link Joker. Let us go over it. We're going to go over the old text because the new text doesn't apply until set 14. So let's get started. If your opponent has a lock card, CB1, put this unit into your soul, lock one of your opponent's rear guards. So when you have one lock card, you can throw CB1 again, throw this into the soul, and lock a front row possibly, and that will be it for a good 2 months until it gets its actual real effect, which you're reading up above. Micro Hole Draco Kid. Every Draco Kid's a real thing. When rode upon by the Gravity Ball, G1, look at the 7 cards, add the G3 or G2 to your hand. If not, play this card. If you don't get it, play this card. Ernest Starvator Selenium. When your opponent's rear guard is locked by your card effect, return this to your hand. Chaos Breaker Tech. Moving on. White Knight Fenrir. At the end of the battle, this unit boosts a unit with Limit Break 4. Put this unit into your soul to draw a card. Technically more plus, and you can run either or. Because all Link Jokers are legit Limit Break 4, most of them. Black Ring Chain Politis. Counterblast 1. Put this unit in your soul and search a G3. Origin Fist Big Bang. Put this unit into your soul to have one of your units get plus 3,000 till the end of the turn. On to the G1s. Barrier Starvator Prometheum. This is a Sentinel. You have to be at 5th damage for it to activate or you're about to die. Gravity Ball Dragon. This is the G1. When rode upon by another G2, it completes its ride chain. So on and so forth. Opener of Dark Gates. When placed, if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, discard a card, draw a card. Weird filter. It's like the Eradicator filter, but I don't see much use in that. Demon Claw Starvator Lanthium. When your opponent's rear guard is locked by your card effect, this unit gets plus 3,000 power. So you have a 10k booster every time you do a lock type of play. So that's nice. That comes in handy. Hollow Twin Blaze Binary Star. Vanilla Star Strafing Starvator Ruthenium. When this unit boosts Nebula Lord Dragon, you can Soul Blast, and then Nebula Dragon gets an 11k booster. Or, yeah, he becomes an 11k booster. Paradox Nail Fenrir. When this unit boosts a unit that's LB4, it becomes a 9k booster. When Imaginary Orthoros, this is just a self-damager. Moving on. Asteroid Belt Lady Gunner. When attack this unit boost hits, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw a card. This is the better filter. Because it's legit Amaro, and you can get the pieces you're missing. Starvator Mobius Breath. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, lock one of your opponent's rear guards. This effect is good for pretty much a good couple turns, believe it or not. This is actually not such a bad unit. It's a free lock on a back row, so your opponent does lose a booster check, and that could help you in the long run. This goes great with the ride chain, because in the end, if you don't complete the ride chain, you still have a unit that's going to do a lock anyways. Because here's the ride chain unit, Gravity Collapse Dragon. When placed, if Gravity Ball Dragon, the G1 is in your soul, lock one of your opponent's rear guards. So this is supposed to lock like a technical intercept if you went second. Yeah, it's supposed, if you go second and you roid the G1, yeah, by turn 4 you should be locking a front row possibly, and you're going to maximize damage output. Paradise Elk. When this unit attack hits, CB2 to draw a card. That is way too CB heavy, and we don't have counter charges. This will not be used at all. Gravity Clash Dragon. Okay. Devastation, Starvator, Tungsten. If your opponent has a locked card, this unit gets plus 3,000, so a possible 21k beat stick. If you have the G1 in this, and you completed the ride chain, you locked the card, GG's from there. Well, it's just a good aggressive play with Link Joker in general. Tungsten's really good for those types of plays. Strike Starvator, Krypton. Not bad, not bad. Just a vanilla 10k, but all those are bad. Furious Claw, Starvator, Neobium. When your opponent's rear guard is locked by your card effect, this unit gets plus 3,000, so it's a 12k beat stick. So with the 10k, possible magic number hit without a trigger is always good for me. I'll take it. Singularity Sniper. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if your opponent has a lock card, lock one of your opponent's rear guards. So again, you can add on to the lock if you do a crit possibly, but you can't crit until you lock something, and you only lock something by Nebula Dragon, Collapse Dragon, and Mobius Breath. So that's way Singularity Sniper can snipe even more if your opponent did play more cards. Very situational card at the end of the day. Gamma Burst Fenrir. During your turn, if your unit is a LB4, it's an 11k beat stick. Not too bad actually, because like I said, most of the Link Joker is LB4, so those AKs becoming 11Ks with the Methanium or something. It's a 21k beat stick, 21k column that can really help you in the long run. When this unit attacks, CB1 becomes 12k, no thanks. Negligible Hydra is a self-damager, don't worry. On to the stuff. Knight of Entropy. Entropy Vanguard? Just kidding. But still, good guy. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, it gets 5,000 power until the end of battle. When placed, CB2 lock one of your opponent's rear guards. Notice how it says lock any when placed. That's not bound by a limit break 4. So possible budget Link Joker decks out there. This could be used. You lock a front row, rewrite it again if you heal. Like I said, we're not going to see a counter charge, not possibly till the Glendio saga, so we're going to have to wait. But possible stopping your opponent for a turn does help you in the long run as well. Nebula Lord Dragon. This card you actually get one of for free, which is an event. So limit break 4. At the start of your battle phase, all your front row units get plus 2,000 power, so power creeping, till the end of the turn for each of your opponent's lock cards. In addition, if your opponent has 3 or more lock cards, draw a nice card. And CB1, this used to be CB2 in the actual TCG. CB1, lock one of your opponent's back rows only. So he only limits himself to the back row. So it's going to be tricky to lock 3 units. So CB3 to lock everything. But obviously this goes with the break ride, which we'll be going over now. Starvator Infinite Zero Dragon. When it's rode upon you, CB1, lock a front and a back row. And then you Nebula, and there's your 3 cards. So you draw a card. So you pretty much CB2 to draw a card. Simple enough. It looks like we were CB2 in general, but at least the CB2 gave us a stall on my opponent's turn with Starvator, which is good. Infinite Zero is actually going to be a rank reward, so don't worry if you don't pull too much of it. Make your budget. You'll be able to grind them out in those couple months during set 14, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Swordschild Dragon is also a rank award, so don't worry about pulling too much. You get what you get. Don't get upset. It's also a rank award, so don't beat yourself up. Swordschild, CB3, Persona Blast. Lock 3 of your opponent's rear guards. This unit gets 10,000 power and +1 critical. When placed, you can counterblast 1 to add a floaty Swordschild to your hand. So it's like a guaranteed lock, but this is like give or take. Maybe your opponent would most likely have to be at 5th damage. Because if they're at 5th damage, you knock out 3 PGs, you're good to go. Somewhere around those lines will help you. I always kind of debated Swordschild with a stand trigger because if it came down to it, why not? I mean, you get to crit, knock a PG, your units are going to be able to swing, you're going to be able to restand, things happen, so on and so forth. But that's like final damage push, like I said. Swordschild can be interesting to play as well. Definitely doing deck profile on that boy. Trodinger Lion. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, just 12k. Twilight Baron looks like a Megazord and he looks beautiful. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, 5,000 power with the Vanguard. When this unit attacks a Vanguard as a rear guard, becomes 12k. So they have apparently a lot of 12k units. Catastrophic Stinger. When your grade 3 Vanguard is placed, get 10,000 power. Okay, we are done talking about Link Joker. So as far as I'm concerned, like I said, at best they're going to be locking back row when they come out. Starvator is the only one going to be locking front row. They have the occasional Knight of Entropy that can lock a front row too. So kind of a little bit of a backup option in a sense. But if you pull up Nebula Lord Dragon like perfectly, you're set. Sniper, we could possibly be using Sniper. I don't really see much use in it unless we haven't unless we locked a card already. So again, it's one of those situations versus this guy. If we lock a card with Nebula Dragon, he's a 12k beat stick. Or we do Infinite Dragon, again, 12k beat stick, very free. Tungsten, same thing, an 11k beat stick. And actually, this remains, I forgot to say this remains an 11k beat stick until the end of your opponent's turn. So if you lock pretty much like the 2 boost, your Vanguard booster, one of the rear guard boosters in the front row with the 0 infinite, and Tungsten's in town, your opponent will be limited on attacking you. He will need a trigger at best. If not, if you have 2 Tungstens for that turn, your opponent might be screwed because you're definitely not taking a hit if you have 2 of these. 11k shields are biatch to get around due to the fact you have locked their boosters. Now they're really screwed, period. So Tungsten I can definitely see lots of use of, including the G1 as well, as we all saw. Palladium right here. Definitely, I know its name's Lanthium. I'm thinking of set 14. But Lanthium will definitely be used in everyone's deck. It's a 10k booster with Tungsten, 21k, with the blades, Neobium blades, 22. It's all Gucci. So that concludes a Link Joker. I'm excited for them next month. I like trying new clans. I like getting the hang of it when I can. It's not easy. I have to always learn these. I have to play them a couple times until I get like the actual shtick down. On to the Eradicator stuff. Eradicator Blade Hane Draco Kit. When your opponent's rearguard is retired by the effect of your Eradicator. If your Vanguard is a Vowing, put this card into your soul to have your Vanguard get plus 3,000 power and plus 1 critical. So when your opponent's rearguard is retired by an effect of Eradicator, you then put this card, your Vowing gets a crit. But again, this is when you break ride Vowing Sword with reverse Vowing Sword break rides. You kill 1 unit, you kill 2 more units, it becomes a crit, then it becomes a 3 crit, so on and so forth. You're pretty much cleaning up your opponent's field while having a 13k cross ride beat stick where they'll possibly only be able to do 1 damage. And once you heal after that break ride, you're kind of just saying GG after that. Yeah. 3 crits, nice though. You can definitely save that for later. I mean, if you pull out the Vowing play, you technically don't have to do this card's effect yet. You can possibly do it later. Give yourself a crit. Give yourself a possible crit after getting the first crit off Vowing, so you don't waste this. So, I mean, I want to find use in that Forerunner, because I found lots of use with the Steve Forerunner than anything. Dual Storm Eradicator Toko, Counterblast 1, plus 1,000, Eradicator Fire Kohaji. Once you boost the Vanguard, your opponent's damage is at 3, has 3 or more cards. This becomes a 10k booster, but it has to boost the Vanguard. Boom. Eradicator Lorentz Force Dragon. When your grade 3 Eradicator Vanguard is placed, CB1 to retire one of your opponent's rear guards, priority to the back row. There's like very less use of this card, but I'm guessing if you're having a crappy booster game and you throw this in the back, maybe play 2 more intercepts in the front, you get hit to 4th damage, you're going to kill a back row anyways, then you're going to kill 2 more back row or whatever's back there, and you just go ham from there, I guess. I don't know. I think that's what they wanted you to do with this. Very awkward. So Eradicator, Vowing Saber Dragon, reverse. Counterblast 1, lock 2 Eradicators. This card gets plus 10,000 power and retire 2 of your opponent's rear guards at random, obviously to the back row. So I guess that's what they're expecting you to do. Yeah, I just don't see that happening. Maybe you play that card early. I mean, you could be playing that card early. Like, hypothetically, you could play this early and then ride Vowing. And then you just sack a back row anyways. You just keep your opponent clean as you can when you get to this point. So you can kill all their intercepts and you just go for game. Maybe. I like to test. I like to theory craft builds and see if it can work out. We'll see. Vowing Reverse does have a great effect. If 3 or more opponent's rear guards were retired by your card effect, this turn this unit gets plus 1 critical. So there's that other crit. Second clues for Narcon. Reverse Vowing tech is interesting. I mean, the Forerunner, very questionable due to the fact we're done using Linshu. But, I mean, now that Linshu only targets G1s, we could open up our eyes to more of using the G0s. pretty much in that sense, and we can do a lot more damage. We'll have to wait and see. This requires more testing, and so on and so forth. That's what we have deck profiles for. Beast Deity, onto the Nova supports. Beast Deity, Night Jackal. When this unit stands during your battle phase, it gets 4,000, so it becomes a 9k beat stick. 9k booster. So-and-so. Beast Deity, Max Beat. When this unit stands during your battle phase, if the Vanguard is a Beast Deity, CB1 and stand one of your other rear guards. So that's nice. So it just says when this unit stands during your battle phase. So when you stand this with a special effect, Counterblast 1 to stand one of your other rear guards. So it's a double restand in the sense if you didn't restand with so-and-so, or you did this and you did that. All this unit has to do is restand, and then if you CB1, you can restand another Beast Deity. So extra attack points in a sense. It's just that he needs to restand max speed. So again, depends on the situation. Beast Deity, Desert Gator. During your turn, if your Vanguard is a Beast Deity, this unit gets plus 3,000 power. Back to this, actually, this makes me think of that Susano unit, but that's like a CB2 just to get an aggressive play if you have the column. So on and so forth there. Beast Deity, Brainy Papio, the Monkey King. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard that is a Beast Deity, CB1 to stand one of your other rear guards, aka now this has more priority. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, stand one of your other rear guards, aka you can restand this and then restand him. That's a CB2. Whoop-de freaking do. That seems like a lot. So I guess definitely having a toolkit possibly preps so you can get the counter charge back when this possibly restands itself. Due to targeting the back row, then that was 2 CB. At least if Ethic hits, it was only like a CB1 play. But I don't see you wasting too much CB. I guess it depends what's on your other side when you're playing this. Maybe an anklet restands instead. So that's another plus right there. So on and so forth. There's that. So definitely mixing up the Beast Deities. Definitely this is 4 of. Papio is a must. Deadliest Beast Deity. Ethic. Basta. Reverse. So it's a 1-turn effect. Counterblast 2, lock a rear guard and discard 2 Beast Deity cards, and then you get this ability. At the end of the battle, that this unit attacks, stand it and draw 2 cards. So again, it's not block, but it's Beast Deity, which we're looking for. So it restands your front row, at least that once. But the good thing about this, at the end of that, this unit did attack. The good thing about reverse ethics, he doesn't have to hit to restand. So technically, let's talk hypothetical, 5th damage. You attack, this card restands. This card's going to restand in general due to its own effect versus the block situation where block had to hit. Now Ethic Buster just restands himself, period. So that just gives you that extra oomph damage with Yamamoto Drake and Anklet on the 5th damage pretty much, if it comes down to it. Or you pushed him at 4th damage, maybe they didn't have a big intercept game, you attacked, so on and so forth. When your drive check reveals a grade 3 or greater Beast Deity, this unit gets plus 5,000. So he even power creeps himself. He gives himself 5,000. And then you can give that trigger check to a different unit, boosting both your columns, power creeping for that final hit. So that is awesome. The fact that he gives himself his own 5,000 boost from a trigger is good enough that he can transfer that other trigger to a different unit. If it comes down to it, keep in mind this unit will be at 2,300 when you break ride, and the break ride is the most important part to this unit. If you play this unit normally, it could benefit you too as well. It just depends on your hand. I mean, Ethic Buster Reverse isn't a bad unit in a technicality sense that you can still use them and get a free restand on the final attack if you so happen to miss the break ride. But the break ride is just very important for those last big final plays. Strongest Beast Deity, Ethic Busta Extreme. When your drive check reveals a grade 2 or less Beast Deity, stand one of your rear guards. If you do not stand, that unit gets 5,000 power. So you can power creep your units, but if they restood, your whole front row restood because you break ride technically, but using a break ride for this seems meaningless since Ethic Reverse actually restands versus this guy not restanding. And when this unit is boosted, it gets 3,000 power. So again, toolkit, 21k, so on and so forth. So yeah. So obviously Reverse was the better of the bunch. Extreme is definitely a totally different build when it comes down to like even final damage checking. Yeah. Definitely a final damage check for sure, maybe. like, I guess hypothetically speaking, hand size looks crappy. You don't have enough cards for the reverse, but you should. Maybe your field got demolished, so maybe you need a technical restander so you can get those final hits in. Also a possibility as well. So Extreme and Reverse both have their unique toolkit. It just decides where you go with your plays at the end of the day. Period. We're done talking about Novas. I'm always excited for Novas. I'm a robot fan. I love robots, as you can tell. I'm playing freaking Evangelion, and I like playing super robot games a whole lot. And stuff that relates to mechas. Without further ado, let's get started on everyone's favorite clan, the Revengers. Assemble! So don't worry about Claudius's new effect. That has to be worried about when you get to set 14, guys. So let's focus on what this is. So you have 2 months of this effect. If your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, Counter Blast 1, put this unit into your soul, call a Blast or Dark Revenger from the deck. Thank you for that. It helps. Calling a Blast Dark Revenger is nice. And if you can do this effect whenever, obviously when you're on G3 phase, you can decide when to do this effect. So obviously you're going to want to prep a certain unit, which we'll go over. Spinal Boo Revenger. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted a unit that's LB4. Put in the soul, draw a card. Barrier Troop Revenger Doreen. When your Blast Dark Revenger is placed in the same column as this unit, if your Vanguard is a Revenger, countercharge 1. The whole deck is possibly going to be Revenger, so you're going to be able to countercharge back up. The only problem is with the new format, they made it CB2, so we can't likely do it. When we call Blaster Dark Revenger, sadly, because we're CB2, then we have only CB2. We can't do the effect because it was CB1 before. But don't worry, the first 2 months we're going to be able to do this. That's 2 damage. We're going to be able to do the effect with Claudius, retire, go aggressive, and countercharge 1. So technically we only spent 1 CB to retire when you have Doreen prepped. Dark Revenger Masquerade. When this unit obviously does that PG, you have 5th damage, it will activate. Revenger Dark Bond Trumpeter. When placed, CB1 and call a random 5k booster. I mean, that's going to come in clutch sometimes. It just depends on how you go about your builds. There's going to be many theory builds for this. Obviously, I want to try something with Bond Trumpeter. Because, honestly, the effect does sound kind of pleasing. I would love to try it out. So, hopefully, I get some good testing in with that bad boy. Sacrilege Revenger Baal Bareth. 1,000 power for each CB1. Ridiculous. Transient Revenger Masquerade. During your turn, if your Vanguard is a Revenger, becomes 10k. Brawn Bow Revenger. When this unit boosts a Vanguard, if you have less rear guards than your opponent, this unit gets plus 4,000 power until the end of battle. And that's a 10k booster for that type of effect, but it's worthless. When this unit boosts Revenger Raging Form Dragon. Soul Blast 1, get 5,000 power, so 22k. Yikes. Sonobow. When this unit boosts a unit with Limit Break 4, it gets plus 3,000 until the end of the turn. Nah, it's like, Here's an important card. Don't worry about Blaster Dark Avenger. You pull, you pull. He is a rank award. He is the start of rank award season when this set drops. So you pull what you pull, and if you get, you get. You don't get upset. When placed, if your Vanguard is a Revenger, Counterblast 2, retire your opponent's rear guard. If Doreen's in the back, countercharge 1, you retired for only 1 CB. Dark Cloak Revenger Tartu. When placed, if your Vanguard is a Revenger, Counterblast 1, call grade 1 or less Revenger from your deck to another rear guard column in the same column as this unit. Wait, what? When placed, if your Vanguard is a Revenger, Counterblast 1 to call grade 1 or less Revenger from your deck to another rear guard circle in the same column as this unit. So obviously it's just Maka. The wording was stupid. It's just Maka. You're gonna put Doreen in the back. This sets up your Blaster Dark Revenger play for the CB retired, so you can get some push damage in with Claudius. So that's nice. Nullity Revenger Masquerade. I guess he just wanted to be a Revenger. He wanted to join the club. During your turn, if your Vanguard is a Revenger, 12k beat stick. Darkness Revenger Rugos, 10k. Callball Revenger. During your turn, if you have less rear guards than your opponent, this card gets 3,000. That's worth it. Chocobo Revenger. During your turn, if you have a unit with Over Break 4, this unit is an 11k beat stick. Demon World Castle Z-Sweeper. When this unit attack combo +1 becomes a 12k. I mean, this unit's like, But I mean, for the raging play, maybe if you don't need boosters anymore and you go for like this guy, at least he's an 11k beat stick. versus like the 9K, but we're running like Tartu and Revenger and possibly a different type of G2 like Masquerade. I don't think we're gonna really edit too much of that, you know. Illusionary Revenger, Mordred Phantom. When rode upon, Vanguard gets 10,000 power. Call grade 2 or less Vanguard card from your deck, and that unit gets plus 5,000. So the unit that's coming out of the deck is already getting a 5,000 boost. When this unit attacks Vanguard, it gets 3,000. So obviously 7,000 booster, 21k. So obviously Mordred's going to be really good with any type of shadow build. So this will help you in the long run with Blaster Dark Spirit. Blaster Dark Spirit becomes easier to call. Blaster Dark Spirit becomes a 15k. So you get a little bit more of the retiree effect if you need to. Are we running Blaster Dark Spirit as secret tech with Mordred? There's a high possibility. We save a CB2. Maybe Doreen's not in the back anymore because they somehow sniped it. But if Doreen's still there, we're obviously going to call Blaster Dark Revenger because, A, we're not losing CB when we do this call. I could have sworn it was a CB1 in the TCG. So that's a positive. We're not losing a CB when we do the call. So Blade Spirit's going to be one, but now, to me, now it just sounds like Revenger, Blaster Dark Revenger is only going to be one due to the fact we have Doreen. It's weird because you think, like, you could do either or. You're still CBing one, but, I mean, when you do Blaster Dark Revenger, you're technically CBing one, saving a CB2. So, in case you had to do a Tartu play again because you had to refill your board, stuff like that. Mordred Phantom is just amazing, period. That's number one. He's amazing. I love it. Good break ride. No CB to call. Call Blaster Dark Revenger. Call Blaster Dark Spirit. Do what you want. Do what you got to do. But honestly, you're playing Spirits if you're break riding Duke or you're break riding Jailer. Because Revenger ain't going to go off. You need a Call of Spirit to actually get the plus. Onwards. When this unit attacks, it gets the following ability. Revenger Raging Form Dragon. At the end of the battle, retire 3 Revenger Rear Guards. Ride a Raging Form Dragon from your hand and draw 2 cards. Your Vanguard then gets plus 1,000 power, which becomes a 21k beast stick. So it's 21k twice, so you know you're going to hit the magic number anyways. This card also has a Vanguard effect. Retire 3 Revenger Rear Guards to add a Revenger Raging Form Dragon to your hand. He lets you have a Persona Blast. He legit says, I'm going to give you that restand by just retiring 3 units. And then if you want to ride me, guess what? Even if you threw 3 crappy G3s in the back of me, or 1 G1, congratulations. I'm going to sack them and you can draw 2 cards. I technically helped you filter your hand. This is technically a filter, if you think about it. Throwing 2 G3s in the back, maybe 1 G1's for a booster. It depends on the field. Guess what? You technically filtered with this, and you got away with it. So Raging Form will not ever not have a Persona Blast prepped. That's what makes it an amazing freaking Revenger unit. I love it. That's what makes him dope. The fact that you have to sack 3 Revengers, obviously that's the gamble, but still, once you ride this unit again, we could be sacking 6 cards, but at least we drew 2 cards that got us a PG at best if our hand looks this crappy and we need a PG for the end game. Yeah. I love Raging Form. Venomous Breath Dragon. When this unit attacks Vanguard, 5,000 power, then it becomes a 12k beat stick. Labyrinth Revenger R1. When this unit attacks, Counterblast 1, 3,000 power. Demon Wellcaster Xerxion. When your grade 3 Vanguard is placed, this unit gets 10,000 power, and that's just a deck. So that concludes Revengers. They are looking really good. I love them. They have a lot of call power. They have a good amount of retiring effect. I mean, obviously, are we still running them main? High possibility we could be. Not going to say we're not, but there's a high chance we could because technically, if you draw Blaster Dark Revenger and you have Doreen and you set up the column correctly, you play Doreen first and then Revenger, then you kind of get the counter charge back from that. So obviously Cursed Lancer is going to be justifiable, but are we still running Justice Lancer? Maybe there's a possibility. But Tartu definitely has to be played. Blaster Dark Revenger has to be played. We got to play Masquerade. He's a 12k beast stick that won't need a booster so he can swing at the Vanguard. It's up in the air. There's going to be so many builds to Shadows. Don't limit your mind to one thing. Open it. Do bigger plays. Do more with this because there is a lot of unit control. Now, they have a lot of good stuff you can work with. So that's my recommendation. So that concludes our set 12 video, guys. Thanks for watching. Glad I could finally cover this. We are all covered up to set 14 until set 15 drops in Japan, which we always go over early, so you guys can start prepping mats. Oh, Link Joker's looking fun next month. Can't wait to try out Schwartz and Nebula and Infinite. Just know a lot of these cards are pretty much free to get. If you don't pull all of them, congratulations. Zero and Schwarzschild will be grindable, so don't worry about that. Nebula you also get for free as well. So yeah, thank God for some new testing. I always like to try a new deck. Tungsten's giving me the heebie-jeebies though. Being an 11k, that is like ridiculous. Your opponent pretty much has to play 2 G3s to smack. A G3 11k unit to smack it. Or they have a 12k, like I said in my video. To counter Link Joker, have some 12ks. You never know when they'll come in handy. Paradise Elk, Collapse Dragon, yeah. Starvator, Mobius Breath, hell yeah. Everything's looking great. So thanks for watching, guys. Be good, stay safe, and I'll see you all another time. Thank you for watching, homies. I always appreciate the love that you give me because I always give it back to y'all. Peace out.